Welcome back to Laugh to Keep from Crying. You're listening to C. Janae After Dark. And remember, I'm doing this to heal, never to hurt. If you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes, go back because you don't want to miss the beginning of this season. Where we left off, me and baby girl were trying to figure out our next moves. I was staring down another moment where we were about to be out of somewhere to live again. And honestly, it felt like the last straw. But like always, life didn't care and I had to keep going. So today, let's talk about it. Time moved fast after she told me we had to go. After she explained that her grandma was a foster mom and having us there was against the rules. From the moment she said it to the moment I actually started packing, my anxiety was at an all-time high. I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know what the plan was, and I had no backup. But my friend kept saying she had it handled and everything would work out. Eventually, she let me in on the plan. Her boyfriend's cousin or friend or somebody connected to him was moving out of their apartment. They had found a beautiful new place for themselves, their kids, and apparently the idea was that we would move in soon as they left. And then we would take over the lease. And listen, I still don't know what that was. Subleasing? Not really. Maybe the illegal cousin of subleasing? All I knew was they were leaving and we were supposed to move in. That was the plan. At this point, I was still job hunting, still nervous, and the idea of moving somewhere I didn't know with no car, no money, and no monthly pass, it felt overwhelming. And to top it off, the apartment was in South Philly. My whole life, everything familiar to me was in Mount Airy in Germantown. My boyfriend at the time lived in North Philly, but South Philly felt so far from everything, especially when you don't have a license, a plan, or even bus fare lined up. But what could I do? Go with her or be out on the street? Those were the options. She tried to hype the apartment. She told me it had 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, a living room, and that me and baby girl could have our own room. She promised I didn't have to worry about paying anything until I got on my feet. She even said her boyfriend might be able to get me a job. I think he worked at one of those retail stores, Burlington or Home Depot or something like that. So I tried to convince myself that maybe, just maybe, this was God shifting things around for me. Maybe something good was finally coming. About a week after she told me, we packed up everything we owned. Her boyfriend drove us down, and when we walked in, it was what it was. Not the most beautiful apartment, but I wasn't in a position to complain. This girl had been doing everything she could to help me, and baby girl have somewhere safe to be, and I appreciated that. Even though, deep down, I felt like she was mainly excited to settle into a more stable situation with her boyfriend now that they had a place that felt more like theirs. But that wasn't really my business. The room I got was small and basic. I didn't have a bed, so I slept on blankets on the floor. Baby girl, she slept in a long tote lined with clothes because she was not sleeping on a strange floor. Judge me if you want, but I did the best I could with what I had. Days passed. My boyfriend came around sometimes, but it always felt like my friend really didn't want him there. And honestly, it wasn't even her place. The lease was still in that mystery cousin friend's person's name, so we just tried to stay out the way. Finding a job was harder than I thought. Trying to fill out applications on your phone is almost impossible, especially when you don't have a resume. I applied everywhere, ShopRite, random stores, anything. And then I had to think about daycare. How was I supposed to work when I didn't have childcare? And how was I supposed to get childcare without work? I was grateful for the little I did have. Somewhere to sleep, a few food stamps so baby girl could eat, and enough money to keep my phone on. But every day, the fear set in my chest. What if something happens again? What if we end up out on our behinds again? Well, me. People say once you hit rock bottom, the only place left to go is up. But let me tell you something. This was just the beginning of a nightmare. And that is a story for the next episode. Thank you for listening to Laugh to Keep from Crying. I'll catch you in the next one.